Hey, how's it going? John Dorsey with fightingforworld.com. In this video, I want to talk about the whole thing surrounding the Kanye West meeting President Trump thing. And you got the liberal Democrats losing their minds, name calling, putting Kanye down, uh, trying to paint him into a corner as far as why he shouldn't be meeting with Trump, calling him a house Negro. Um, when that's typical of Democrats. That's typical of the left, typical of liberals. When you understand the history of the Democratic Party, they have a history of violence, name calling, ridicule, vindictiveness, because the Democrat Party is the party who, if you've seen the videos from the 50s and the 60s, or just back during the Civil Rights era, where black people were getting hosed down with water hoses, or had police dogs attacking them, those were Democrats. When you think of Jim Crow and segregation and who opposed integration, that was Democrats. When you think of the Ku Klux Klan, that was Democrats. They founded the Ku Klux Klan to terrorize black Republicans into voting Democrat. They created the Ku Klux Klan to terrorize white Republicans into voting Democrat. And all those lynchings and killings that were going on were perpetrated by the Democratic Party. Do you know that the Republican Party was founded? The basis of them being founded was to oppose slavery in the Democratic Party, who was the party of slavery. Republican Party. No Republican ever has owned a slave. No Republican ever was against fair treatment, equal treatment under the law. Because when the slaves were freed, black and white, but that's a whole other discussion. But when the slaves were freed, the first black senator, congressman was a Republican. And this was before the 1900s. You already had black senators before the 1900s, and they were Republican. There was a previous civil rights movement that was back in the late 1800s, which was passed, but as soon as the Democratic Party regained power, they repealed that Civil Rights Act. The Voting Rights Act was first passed by Republicans back in the late 1800s and was repealed by the Democratic Party once they regained power in the early 1900s. And you say, well, that's a different party now than it is back then. Well, is it? Consider, what are the Democrats doing right now? What are their tactics? Is it mob tactics? And a mob is a group of people or a crowd of people who are there to intimidate or assert or create a ruckus. So consider what happens, or what has been happening as of late, with the whole Trump derangement syndrome, with the whole Judge Kavanaugh thing, where these people are, or Candace Owens, where they are surrounding her and yelling her out, or Ted Cruz, where they are surrounding him and yelling him out of a restaurant. Just consider the tactics really haven't changed. The Democratic Party still is the party of racism. The Democratic Party is still the party of terrorist tactics. But yet black people vote almost 90% Democrat. I don't. I never have. And with the way that they are going, I never will. Because the party doesn't necessarily mean anything to me. What I care about is what does this person stand for. And there hasn't been a Democrat yet that I could support the majority of what they stood for. Just think of every high crime city, every city that has a dilapidated, a ghetto basically. Those cities are typically, I would say majority, ran by Democrats. Why is that? Why do people think that, are they that stuck, people that much stuck in their comfort zone to keep voting for their someone or a party that's not in their best interest? Obviously they are, because why would black people continue to vote Democrat but yet still complain about all the things they don't have? I mean, it's been, I would say, since the civil rights era that a lot of black people started voting more towards the Democratic Party. Once Lyndon Johnson passed the Civil Rights Act, or signed the Civil Rights Act, which, if you, I don't know if you heard, but when he signed the Civil Rights Act, the purpose of him signing it is to have these N-words voting Democrat for the next 200 years. That's not my words, that's his, except he used the full N-word, I abbreviated. So something needs to, there's a mindset shift that needs to change, kind of like when Kanye said slavery still exists, or that slavery was a choice. Because people are still stuck in that slave mindset today. And I even argue that most black people weren't slaves. The real, or physical slaves, that is. Most black people, I would argue that back then, that they said it'll be easier to mentally enslave these people than to actually put these people in actual chains. Putting mental chains on these people's minds is far easier than putting physical chains on their wrists. And you can see that evident today. That a lot of black people still have this mental bondage, this mental slavery, these mental chains on that keeps them from seeing what they can actually accomplish in life. If they were to just take matters in their own hands and take matters into their own hands and take action. What you find a lot in the black community is they're waiting for other people to do something. They wait for somebody else to build a school. They wait for somebody else to give them an education. They wait for somebody else to give them a job. They wait for somebody else to give them money. I broke out because I took action and I accomplished things. I didn't wait for somebody to give me anything. Matter of fact, I'm the kind of person who, if somebody else is taking too long to do something, I'll just do it myself. Which could be a good and bad thing, because then that just overwhelms me with so many things to do. If I can't get something, I'll just make it myself. So that's all I want to say in this video is to say that I might not agree with everything Kanye West says, but I do support his cause. I do support his movement. I do support what he's doing. And it takes big balls to do what he's doing, because the whole industry is coming down on him. The media is coming down on him, but he doesn't care. As a matter of fact, I think Kanye's become a more inspirational figure with what he's doing than anything else. Because what he's doing is saying, well, I'm not playing big enough. If he's brave enough to do those things, if he's brave enough to stand up against all the attacks he's going through, then what's my excuse for accomplishing the little things I want to accomplish? Or what I say, for not accomplishing the little things I want to accomplish in comparison to what he's doing. You know, what I want to accomplish is little compared to what he's doing. So I have no excuse. So maybe that's how you should look at what he's doing. Is that he's going up there, he's taking action, he's standing up he's going against the grain, and he's getting things done. And that's how you get things done. You don't get things done by waiting for somebody else to do something. You don't get things done by waiting for somebody else to give you something. You get things done by doing things, taking action on your own behalf, and getting it done. So that's it for this video. Like I said, this is John Does with FindInfoWorld.com. I don't put out a lot of videos on this channel, but maybe I'll start doing more videos like this. But if you got some value out of it, like it, share it, subscribe to this channel, and I'll talk to you again soon.